Closing out rounds is a fundamental part of Counter-Strike. Almost every team at the top level has a dedicated closer who thrives under pressure and has the ability to not only steal away the impossible rounds, but to finish off the advantageous ones efficiently. At the recent IEM Cologne Major, we may have witnessed the birth of the next Xyp9x, a player whose level rises as the stakes become higher. That player is Yuurih from Team Furia. But first, let's talk a little bit about Xyp9x, a key part of arguably the best Counter-Strike team of all time. Xyp9x was a low-resource player who was famed for winning clutch after clutch for the legendary Astralis. Just look at these top 10 stats throughout his career. They're far from anything special, and yet his importance within the team was pivotal to their success. The real core to this lineup was their star AWPer device and firepower of mostly Magisk and Dupree, with glaive who was more known for his in-game lead-in than his out-and-out fragging. Xyp9x was the anchor and support player of the lineup, but his fame came from understanding late-round situations and outthinking opponents rather than his raw skill level, which gave Astralis so many rounds that they shouldn't have won, as well as closing out many that they could have lost. Keep this dynamic in mind, as there are a lot of similarities here with Yuurih and Furia. It's been a far from great year from Yuurih, with many questioning his place in the team. In a recent HLTV interview, his coach Sidder mentions how Furia overall struggles on the T sides have impacted Yuurih the most, which is where Yuurih often shines, meaning that his form has understandably taken a big hit. And when Furia came into the IEM Cologne Major, there were a lot of doubts towards the team having struggled to find their form for most of the entire year, and the pressure was really on. However, pressure isn't always a bad thing. Some people thrive under it. And with Fallen's emotional retirement potentially on the horizon, there was an added motivation for the team and the entire Brazilian community to ensure that he got the send-off that his career really deserves. Under the pressure, Yuurih thrived, being statistically the best rated Furia player during the playoffs, as they made a highly unexpected second place after blitzing their way through 5 opponents comfortably before falling to Falcons in the final. So what happened with Yuurih, and why are so many people comparing him with Xyp9x? Here are the players with the most number of clutches won so far this year. He's in some pretty elite company, but what stands out to me are the performances of the other players. These are the yearly stats of all this competition in this list, and these are the numbers Yuurih has, which are eerily comparable to Xyp9x's numbers that we discussed earlier. Yuurih isn't a star in this lineup, or even the third star. He's the guy who plays the tricky CT roles and closes out rounds. This is the 11th major of his career, and at 26 years old, he has amassed a ton of experience and knowledge, which is helping him excel in these crucial late round scenarios. So what does experience look like on the server? I think as a clutcher, you kind of always need to have the information around you, and this kind of information is coming all the time, right? So Mayan towards A finds 2 kills, the B player has a Owasso peek, Fallen is going to smoke for the mid B split, and Yuurih finds the kill, comes back and takes the bomb. So it's very common, very common when there's one person alive and you have 2 CTs, that the CT players will kind of just take the bomb sites and they will make sure that the T can't plant. I think it's also worth noting as well that when players come from middle, this is an avenue to attack the B bomb site. It's not an avenue to attack the A bomb site. Very rare anyway. So it's 1 versus 2. You kind of roughly know that the players can't really peek you right now because, well, there's a smoke here and they're just going to be isolated, so you can't take these 1v1 duels. And what I love now is that Yuurih understands that the AWPer is on A. Wherever the AWPer plays, he has to be worried about different positions, no matter where he is right now, okay? So Yuurih is going to come from the one position, which is kind of almost impossible for Mayan to watch. So if he's on short, it's very hard to watch CT, and if he's long, he's going to be looking towards the platform rather than towards CT spawn. And we'll see, like, also now, just how uncomfortable this looks from Mayan's POV, and he's kind of always flicking around. I think that's kind of why when he does check CT spawn, there's not really any conviction there in the crosshairs. You see, it's way off where Yuurih should be. But first, let me tell you about today's sponsor, skins.com. Skins.com is a peer-to-peer skins trading website with 0% fees, fast payouts, and a robust instant sell feature. So if you are tired of your current loadouts, browse through thousands of CS2 skins, including ones from the Chinese market with exclusive prices, and find the perfect upgrade in just a few clicks. They also support many regions and payment methods, including options like crypto, Apple Pay, bank transfers, and more. And now, skins.com has also added peer-to-peer trading, so you can buy and sell directly with other users. So whether you're upgrading your inventory or cashing out in your old skins, check out skins.com by clicking the link in the description of this video. But also the quality from Yuurih is pretty high. It's a really quick counter strafe, and he deletes Mayan, kind of gives him no chance. So Yuri's in a 1 versus 1. He's going to plant safe, He's got a Molotov towards CT spawn. And like I said before, the reason why he's going to be quite confident that he's got a bit more space is because when you're playing like solo for these bomb sites and he saw that no one was peeking him, this is probably the most aggressive position he's going to play against. And that means he's going to be late when he comes to him pushing towards short. So Yuurih just needs to be aware of this. And if he's not there, well, most likely he's early coming towards CT or very late towards long, which I think is also unlikely. Molotov comes down, he checks short and he takes his position. And Xyp9x just has so many things to check here. And then when it comes to clearing his position, Xyp9x so worried about everything, he doesn't actually clear this properly. And that means that Yuurih just has, without really having to take a duel here so much, an easy kill, and he wins out the 1 versus 3 with a couple of nice kills and just kind of really reposition and outplaying the other team. And this is far from a one-off where you're kind of using that experience and outplaying. And kind of round starts here with him trying to support his players on short and then just making the kills in the walk position. So when the T's finally do come to him, he does a great job of finding 2 kills, and the trades are going to happen, and we're going to end up in a 1 versus 1. And in a moment now, Xyp9x takes down his teammate as Yuurih finds the frag. Obviously now he has to worry because Xyp9x was in this area and he could potentially push through short. I think the smoke is actually not there. And when Yuurih realizes that there's no player going towards short, he sneaks back out again and he's going to reposition. And that means for Xyp9x, he has to kind of worry about everything right now. Yuurih could have pushed short as well. He could be at the water, he could even be at the barrel, so he's really going to waste Xyp9x's time here. And Yuurih kind of gets a little bit unlucky, so he's fully repositioned right now. It's a position Xyp9x never really would expect, and he kind of has other problems to worry about. And he gets a little bit unlucky with the timing, but he hits like a drive-by headshot. And now it's the last round of the game. It doesn't matter if your opponent plants. And what Yuurih's going to do is he's going to make Xyp9x go where he wants him to go. So he knows he's low HP. The only problem he can kind of have now is if Xyp9x plays like an off angle, maybe he could die. So he's going to try making play in one exact position because he has to plant the bomb. There's only 15 seconds left. He hears the tap, he checks it quickly, and now he says to Xyp9x, unlucky, you have to plant the bomb to come kill me. There's no time for you to push all the way around and kill me anyway. You have to plant the bomb to win the round. He gets him stuck in the corner. Xyp9x can't do anything right now, and he's just kind of making sure he has the advantage. He repositioned round, he hit the headshot, he trapped Xyp9x down into position, knowing he has to plant the bomb, and he just made sure he was in control of the clutch all the time. It was an easy outplay for him in this situation. So we have a 2v2. Fury just traded out towards round. Xyp9x went down, they saw him. Now just in some basic fundamentals here. Fallen's low. Send him in first and try and trade him. That's exactly what Yuurih does. Nice movement again, by the way, kind of always moving. And I want to just understand again, like the brain side of things from Yuurih. He understands that when he plants the bomb, that is a sensitive moment for Xyp9x or whoever is down and low to run up the vents and then trap him in this kind of area. And then it's kind of on Xyp9x to complete the round rather than Yuurih being in control. And you see the smoke that Yuurih throws here? There's no intention to throw this towards main. He even hesitated for 1 second and he threw it in front of himself to give himself extra angles to play around. So when Xyp9x comes up, he's worried that Yuurih might even walk through the smoke. Yuurih has no intention to do this. He just wants to make sure he has extra angles to play around, and when he does go around this, he's going to delete Xyp9x with the first bullet and give him no chance. And I think it's just great to see this mindset of Yuurih wanting to outplay. He wants to make space for himself and he wants to always be in control. And even in positions where he isn't in control, it seems like he is. So we can clearly see that Yuurih is a very intelligent player and that he can easily outsmart his opponents. But in this tournament, he was so much more than that. And he became a genuine 4th star in a lineup that previously relied so much of the Keisarato, Yekindar, and Molodoi trio. And you can't really be a star player without having good mechanics. And I think this one really highlights the good movement that Yuurih has. So 2v3 situation, Keisarato finds a kill, and Sizzy in a moment is going to be spotted on top of these boxes. Molotov comes in, and now Fury know where both players are, and I think it's worth noting how Yuri's going to isolate the duels as well as he can. So he realizes the crossfire is in this position right now, so we see that Yuurih, if he was to keep going his path, he would run sideways, right? It's just easier in Counter-Strike to take AD battles rather than moving forwards. Yuurih is purposely going forward. He's trying to make sure this crossfire, well, it doesn't really exist anymore. The smoke is there, he already dropped down, you can't re-peek this, right? So this kill, it's not the prettiest thing in the world you're going to see, and we're going to really hone in on that movement. So the first kind of jiggle peek comes out, he comes back, he takes the kit. Second one comes in now. You see there's no intention to take a duel. He's just spotting. He's trying to make his opponent miss and trying to understand where he is. Basically a third one here. And then he comes out knowing that Sizzy has no armor and he body spams him down. Now, let's see just how difficult this is from Sizzy's point of view and why movement can be so important. So first chance, no, not really a chance. I don't think anyone's really hitting this. Yuurih waits a few seconds, obviously picking the kit up. Jiggle peek again, no chance to kill here. And now that was essentially a jiggle peek from Yuurih, and that means that he's kind of expecting it again. So when he comes back around, the crosshair is going to be very close to the wall, when actually Yuurih is just running the full way across and he body spams him, kind of just in this whole clutch, making sure he doesn't get one-tapped, and then just abusing the fact that Xyp doesn't have the body count armor. So it's kind of a mixture here of the movement and the knowledge. So let's make sure we're taking in the information. Here's a clutch. You have to be paying attention to what's happening all of the time. So trades are going to kind of happen. Yuurih comes down, he wants to plant with the smoke up. He hears Torzy drop down, and Molodoi finds a kill and gets traded from the door. The last player, it's also worth noting, is Xyp9x, the A player. However, Xyp9x is coming from A. So either right now, Xyp9x is already down and is in this like double door area, or most likely is coming from behind. So let's see this from Yuurih's point of view. So he's waiting for Xyp9x to play. Xyp9x gets found. Now just look at the pathing that Yuurih has here and the awareness that he understands that what space he has and trying to manipulate it. So the way that he's taking the duel, look how little of a gap here is given for Torzy. Basically, he's kind of understanding exactly what Torzy has to work with and giving him the smallest angle possible because he's trying to break the crossfire and make a little bit more space. Because right now, Torzy is saying he's stuck in this area for Xyp9x. It should be an easy kill. He can kind of collapse on him and come and kill him. However, Yuurih deletes his player and now he's in a 1v1 versus Torzy. And notice how wide suddenly Yuurih is. So from Torzy's POV, he hits the shot, he pulls the pistol out, he goes towards him, and he gets killed. I want to break this down even more. So what I want to look at now is how Yuurih is moving every time he's spotted. So the leg comes in. You see, whilst Torzy has to reload or pull his pistol out, Yuurih moves as far to this side as possible. He gets spotted again. We saw Torzy shooting here. Yuurih was kind of moving. Then he realizes, now that he can't see Torzy, move as wide as possible again. And the reason for this is when you are running one way, it's very difficult to aim the same way. You naturally want to aim kind of the other way, right? So when Torzy comes out, his crosshair is too far to the left, and also Yuurih is crouched. So that little bit of movement there gives Yuurih a chance to have an extra bullet. So instead of just missing the first one, he can land and kill with the third one. So Torzy did have a chance here, but just the cleanness of these mechanics from Yuurih, understanding the space he's in and manipulating that, absolutely fantastic. And he gave himself an opportunity where it seemed like he had no chance. And when you put together confidence, clean mechanics, and experience in the top system, this is a kind of thing that can happen. So it's 2 versus 4. There's kind of a lot of space right now. Everyone died in middle and the bomb goes down. I think also Mayan gets put to low HP. Molodoi is kind of spamming him a little bit and it kind of looks a little bit unlosable. So Lucha finds a kill here and let's just see how everything looks when you put it together. So firstly, he thinks right now because Luchov is in his position, when he clears all his positions, he thinks, well, obviously someone must be watching my shot, right? It has to be this guy. That's why he actually wide peaks, making steps and chases Luchov down. So easy first kill. Now it's a 1 versus 3. The second player shoots at him towards middle. You see these movements, these jiggle peaks, but also lands a headshot onto this other player. And he also knows, remember, that Mayan is low HP from earlier in the round when Molodoi put him low. Max is a little bit hesitant here, but every clutch obviously has its problems. Checking under the boxes, insta-kill again. So now he's in a 1 versus 2. So this understanding kicks in. So this player is low. The other team is scared as well. This is a 4 versus 1. They don't want to lose this. And you kind of know as a clutcher, if you're really thinking about things, this guy is going to give you way more space than maybe you should do. At the same moment, Max is repositioning. Now, what again I love about Yuurih is he realizes that with 20 seconds left, 9Z just want to stop the bomb plant. So wherever this guy is, he's just going to try and buy time. The kills have also happened recently, so most likely he hasn't had the chance to like run to palace or something, right? So when Yuurih's running around, you can see he jump peaks Max here and he kills him fairly quickly. So actually, from Max's point of view, I don't think he's favored either in this duel. So great awareness here from Yuurih. And a nice frag. And now he knows that this last player was in this area, so yeah, maybe he comes ramp soon or palace in a long time. So there's a check towards ramp just in case. And again, just understanding, Mayan is low HP, so most likely what does he want to do? He wants to take a headshot duel. So Yuurih makes sure he's very careful with this. There's a jiggle peek, and he re-peeks again. So now he thinks in this situation, Mayan obviously still playing the stairs position. Actually, Mayan plays this so well that he finds a timing, and even though Yuurih is aware of this with the jump peek, he's actually already crossed. And Mayan probably should kill him in the end, but Yuurih's having a great tournament. Things kind of go your way sometimes. It's just a fantastic way of isolating the duels, understanding the crossfires, and just punishing what was actually not even played that poorly by 9Z, even if there were some mistakes in there. So now we can see what makes Yuurih so good in these clutches. And even though he hasn't had the best year so far, the 1v1 clutch numbers are absolutely fantastic and well above what you would typically expect, with a 79% win rate. He's winning them at a rate that only Xyp9x doing it. I really couldn't find anyone winning them as consistently at this level. He has the tools to be excellent in clutches. With a great position on the fast flank, Yuurih understands that Spinks is stuck on the left side of the bomb site, and so he simply waits for him to try and find some information and punishes it. And the positioning here, knowing that Torzy he has to spam the bomb planter due to the smoke, and then being ready to quickly spam him back and find the trade. It's basic, but extremely effective and logical in these moments where many players can become emotional and forget the basics. You don't need to be Xyp levels and have amazing mechanics to be great. Game understanding can be a crucial skill in CS, and just ask Astralis how much they valued Xyp9x and what he could bring to their team. So we've compared him to Xyp9x, let's see what Xyp9x looked like and see if we can see any comparisons. So we see here just Xyp9x hears the player coming up. Xyp9x pushed long, by the way, an overpass, and he hears Neo coming up. Already look at their thought process going on. So instead of giving him a duel, he actually hides and waits and then peeks him and kills him, right? And here's the smoke going down. We saw this already from Yuurih. Keep in mind that he threw this. He's trying to give himself a little bit more space and buy a bit more time. So he comes down. And there's a big off angle again. However, Bialy, also a very experienced player with a lot of knowledge, he takes his own off angle and he should actually kill Xyp9x. Unfortunately, puts him to 1 HP. Something I've talked about with Snacks, by the way. He remembers this round because of this situation. So now what would normally happen in this position is the person towards A would punish this and make sure he can't come back out. However, this smoke is here, which he threw earlier to give himself some more space. And Xyp9x is stepping towards connector, but then he goes shift. He goes really wide. And like we talked about earlier, the crosshair when you're moving one way, very difficult to come back the other way. And Xyp9x instantly deletes him. It goes into a 1 versus 1. Repositioning, I don't think Bialy can really hear this. Also the crowd as well. He takes new position.
And look at the angle here. This is not easy. Bialy way out in the open. He gets shot down. Xyp9x with the 1-on-3 clutch. Oh my God. 1 health left.
What a god.
And look at the angle here. Quick deleting on the last player, but the off angle, just one of those you can't really clear. He's using the time as well. He knows that Bialy needs to run towards the bomb site. First player headshot. This is kind of what Xyp9x can do. Do you agree with my assessment? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.